Welcome back to this short follow-up of the Paul Gin 10 out of 10 October 10th podcast.
Okay.
I want to talk about Andrew Yang for a second because holy shit, I love me some good Andrew Yang. We're talking about the Joe Rogan podcast and how Joe Rogan really influenced the America in how, like, with even not even intending to, telling people who Andrew Yang was. Because myself, I didn't know who Andrew Yang was before the Joe Rogan podcast, and I heard his ideas and I thought they were really interesting. And Paul Paul, tell your truth.
I just met him.
Speak your truth, girl.
A few months before he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Before that was his big break, his big exposure. And at that time, he really didn't have much funding. Didn't have, I think, like one permanent staff member.
Dang it.
His campaign gathering was in a friend's living room, which was fun. We attended. We talked privately afterwards. He discussed his policies, and he's grown very, very fast now into one of the leading candidates. Yeah, he just reached $10 million in funding in Q3.
So, Paul, what do you think about his policies?
His major policy, universal basic income, very interesting, right? $1,000 for everyone age 18, is it and up or through 65? Something like that.
Yeah.
All adults, right? And he's giving everyone $1,000 every month. I haven't studied the policy enough.
Neither have I. I just heard about it. I listened to it twice.
But some questions I have for him, for
what do you ask
policy.
What did you talk to him about?
Is of course the funding, and also why this would be the best way to improve lives.
Yes.
Like, has this been tried out at this kind of scale before?
So. Definitely not.
And like, has it had the effects that we're looking for?
I guess communism.
But communism isn't about taking a value-added tax off of large corporations.
It's just really the same.
It's communism. I would say is like not complete equality. But that's another topic.
Okay.
Andrew Yang, I wouldn't say is communist.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, but he always mentions Alaska, where they have the dividend on oil. But that figure is relatively a lot smaller, and it's easier for Alaska to handle because they have that kind of revenue. And for like countries in the Middle East,
he's gonna tax Alaska? That's his deal?
No. I mean, I'm saying that. No, he's saying he's using Alaska as an example because Alaska has an oil pipeline and make a lot of money off of oil. So they have an oil dividend for everyone in Alaska.
Oh shoot!
And they have that in a lot of countries in the Middle East as well, because a lot of countries have a lot of oil, and they are able to split that money among the civilians. But that isn't the case. There's no gushing oil in the U.S. that's able to provide that. So
besides Alaska, right?
But Alaska isn't enough for everyone.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So we have to think about if getting value-added tax off of big companies is the right way to do it. We have to think about whether or not these big companies that are getting taxed, what are they going to think about it? Are they going to try to block it? How are they going to lobby against it? Or how can Andrew Yang convince them that they should be partners on this?
How logical is his ideas? Like, how logistical? Like, what are the odds that even if he gets elected that these things get implemented? Well, the only way that he gets
I did a rough calculation. I don't know if I was right, but I'm pretty sure it would cost like $3.5 trillion.
That's what he said. He was throwing out some numbers on that podcast, and I was like,
that's a lot.
Yeah. He talked a lot about self-driving trucks too, and I was like,
because his idea is that AI is the devil, and automation is going to take away a lot of jobs, and truck drivers, a very common job in a lot of states, is they're all going to become jobless, so they need universal basic income. So that's like the transition.
So is he campaigning through these truck drivers? Like, is this going to be a big...
Well, not just truck drivers, but like salespeople, college representatives. He's basically... I believe it's the idea that he's creating the idea that there's this thing called AI that's going to take away your jobs, and my solution is going to be your solution.
Yes. Vote for change. Am I right?
Yes. I don't know that automation and AI are going to take away jobs. I'm not sure I completely agree with that part. But the policy itself, I think, is a very interesting concept.
I agree.
Yes.
So we'll get into the if it works in a second. But do you think that because of how many racists there are in America, which has been pretty apparent through this last election with the nativist sentiment and Trump's whole platform with not denouncing the KKK and blah 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 blah, with that so we know that that's a thing. Do you think that that is going to play an effect of not getting him elected due to the fact that he's Asian?
Yes, I really do think so. I think there's conscious and subconscious bias in everyone's heart, and that's definitely going to play a role in how people decide when they vote, and especially with the trade war going on, and a lot of news attacking China in general.
1942 all over again, or 1941 all over again.
Attacking China, whether it's right or wrong, just the fact that a lot of these comments are being made. There's a lot of sentiment against China in the U.S. now. So that'll definitely affect him. Yeah.
That sucks for him.
Yeah.
But, do you think, say, if... Okay, first, do you think that this is a more logistical thing? Like, thing that can be implemented compared to, like, Bernie's whole idea of, like...
I'm not too familiar with Bernie's complete policy. I was really interested in Andrew Yang only really because a friend of his introduced me, and yeah, he's a Chinese guy, first Chinese guy's running for president. So I'm like, wow, very interesting. I would love to see.
It is very interesting.
What he's talking about. Yeah.
So do you think it would work? Do you think it would improve the lives of the masses?
I don't know. These kinds of policies are so big and massive and change so many aspects of the world that it's so hard to predict. It's almost like a butterfly effect. Almost. Like, the U.S. is a very important country. These policy changes the whole world. And even just in the U.S., extra money in any particular field changes the balances in the whole economic system. Like, with more money in the average person's pockets and less or sucked out of value-added taxes, right? How are companies going to react? Are they investing more?
It's not necessarily just going to be in their pockets. They're going to be spending more too. So it's like a nice little equilibrium for the economy.
Right, but when you're at a point where you're working, for example, X amount hard and you're getting paid $50,000 compared to when you're working X amount hard and getting $62,000, which is what you usually earn plus the basic income, right? Like, does that spending change? The mentality change? The work compared to the input output, the ratios? Does that affect how people spend, how they are?
Right.
Companies, if they believe that people are willing to spend more or have more cash laying around, will they change their products? Like, so many things.
Will they make everything more expensive, as you're saying?
Like, I couldn't possibly give a good prediction on how this would run. I think
it's a big crapshoot. I don't even think he knows how it's going to work out.
I think if anyone says they know perfectly well or a good idea, they're bullshitting.
They're a fucking time traveler.
Yeah. They say that with quantum mechanics, I think. Somebody said that. But, yeah. I really do not... I have no idea how it would play out.
Neither do I. I like the idea behind it. I like the idea of not having to wonder where your next meal is coming from.
But what I do think is that just the fact that a lot of liquid cash, liquid money, is going to a lot of the average citizen, that means a lot of liquid cash is taken out of the financial institutions and the assets of others. And these people,
others being these big companies, or who is others?
Others being maybe the owners of the big companies. Like, yes, the big companies, the people that are interested in keeping the liquid cash out of the people's hands.
So do you think?
And there might be opposition from that.
So of course there's going to be opposition from that, because anytime you threaten a big company with taxes
But these people are very influential people.
Right. Yeah. Lobbyists. But so there's no way that he could pass this or make it work.
I think it's a big plan. I think there's a lot of questions that I don't know the answers
I would
to.
love to ask him about this shit, man. But I feel like that Joe Rogan podcast didn't dig deep enough, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's gonna take a lot of work on his end to convince America
so much
that he's the right guy.
So who are the top 4? We got Biden, we got Bernie.
Biden's dropping very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We have Warren.
Oh, I wonder why. I wonder why. Oh my God.
And we have Sanders. We have Warren. We have Biden.
Colonel Sanders.
And we have
good old Colonel Sanders.
Actually, I don't. Maybe Kamala Harris is still on top of.
You know what, Paul? We have fucking Google. Let's Google it. The good old Googs. Top polls we just learned are fake anyway, right? There's no such thing as accurate polls. Top Democratic candidates.
Biden 32, Warren 22, Sanders 17. Buttigieg.
This
4,
is from
Harris 5,
October 4th, so 6 days ago. Let's see what we got. National average polling. Fuck your stupid polling, you fucker.
On this site, it says Andrew Yang isn't doing well at all. Maybe I was wrong completely. Maybe he's just.
Yeah, he's rocking it at a good 2%. Like,
okay. Yeah, I was off by like.
So Biden. This says that Biden is the. But you know.
Well, okay.
What are these polling things?
Well,
what are these stupid
this
polling?
number has to be at least 10 million. He raised 10 million in Q3.
Straight up.
Yeah.
What the heck's Q3?
Quarter 3 of 2019.
I see.
Like I know that for sure.
For sure.
So, at least some of these statistics on this page is wrong.
So this is New York Times. So this looks like a lot of fake news.
But what's the date?
6 days ago.
Here, let's look up Andrew. Where am I? Am I even searching?
Nope.
Andrew Yang, Q3, 10 million.
That looks pretty legit. Announced his campaign raised 10 million in Q3.
And if this is October 2nd and that one is October,
Then this one is wrong, obviously.
yeah.
Our boy Bernie coming in at 25 million. Andrew Yang will go at the end of 19 with 6.3 million in hand. He raised largely with the help of small dollar donors.
He used to say.
Are you one of those small dollar donors, Paul?
I'm actually not. He used to say that the opposite of Donald Trump is an Asian guy who likes math. Right? And then that's why he got the math hat. And then I think some of his fans decided that math stood for. What did he stand for? Make America Think Again. Yes, that's
Make
that's
America Think Again. That's dope. Really?
Yeah.
That's hella cool.
So his hat's
I think that
math hats.
if Trump's the direction that we're going in, if this is the direction that we're going in the next 4 years, I think we'll be okay.
Really?
I think we'll be okay. This guy seems smart. I listened to him talk. He's a smart cookie.
Yeah. It's interesting to look at his past too. He was a lawyer for 5 months, and then he had some startup history. They aren't too specific, I think, on what his actual history. That was my Siri.
Silly Siri.
He wasn't too specific on how everything turned out, I think.
I missed that.
Is that you?
Could you say it again, please?
Your Siri activated my Siri. Apple's trying to kill us. Shut up, Apple, you big buttholes. Hell yeah. Oh, dude, get this.
What's up?
He is just got off the phone. Oh my goodness.
You okay?
Yeah, so get this. This last time, my team, I play soccer.
Right.
And we played this Brentwood team.
Okay.
Like a month ago.
Okay.
And there was like a brawl.
Nice.
There was like a brawl. Like these kids were dirty, horrible.
We're still rolling?
Yeah, we're still rolling. There was a brawl. It was nuts. We had to get our technical director of our club talk to us because there was like a parent that was involved in it. It was crazy. The final score, it was 2-1, and there was like fists were thrown, and so they had to call the game. And
Nice.
now we're playing them
Again?
this Saturday.
Very
And
fun.
I'm very excited. And so I just got a message from our team manager saying that this team's technical director was going to be there and that they got a solid ref for this game.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I'm excited.
Very fun.
Okay. What's up?
Very fun.
Very fun, very fun. So, I think we'll wrap this up by saying Andrew Yang for president, 2020.
Very, very cool guy.
So you think that Trump would beat this guy in a rematch?
You know, I think if Andrew Yang became the Democratic nominee, I think it'd be a good fight, good spectacle.
I think that those debates would be fucking hilarious. Oh my god.
Yeah. Very interesting.
He's a cool guy.
I think he's really like the special story of this election.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think he's a very special story. Alrighty. Andrew Yang, 2020. I want $1,000 so that I can buy $1,000 worth of Fortnite skins.
Great.
Ah! I'm gonna end it there. Goodbye.
Goodbye.